As we move.
Alright.
I'd like to welcome everybody to another episode of the Caribbean Edge. Today, our episode is going to be on technology and artificial intelligence and all iterations thereof and how it has affected us as a society. But let's start by the greetings. My name is Sean Spalding.
Shauna Whittingham.
Dawn Wilson.
And Keith Heron.
I just love that intro already. Fantastic.
Exuberance.
Let's start off with a little bit of our own personal anecdotes as far as how the different technologies and advancements that we've experienced, how has it impacted our life. And we tend to look at these things or the technology that we've grown accustomed to as it's just part of our daily life, but they're really huge advancements based on where we're coming from just 10, 20 years ago. So Keith, how has these new technological advancements affected your life, and speak to specifically which ones?
Okay. Well, first of all, in personal life, just about everything is automated. So just by auditory signals, you can send, or you can get a channel if you want. I can send you text. All these things.
Auditory signals. Auditory signals.
Auditory signals.
You're gonna get techie, all right.
No, but just about everything now.
It's automated.
It's automated, yeah. You don't really have to punch any numbers anymore.
Yeah.
So if I want to call Sean, call Sean.
Siri.
That's it.
Siri.
And just about, turn on the lights,
I don't think you even have to say Siri anymore. You
Really?
can say call Sean.
Yeah.
So it's like really a relationship.
Yeah.
You don't even call them by the name anymore. Get me a drink.
But there is awareness now.
Yeah.
Awareness electronics, even on the phones. So as soon as you look at the phone is on and expecting you to give it some sort of
command.
Yes.
And how has that impacted your life though?
Well, I'm a trainer, so it's great for me.
Yeah.
I get a lot of clients because everybody is not doing things. They're not actually physically doing anything. So they come to me now for that physical. I need to enhance myself. So that's where I normally see a lot of people. And I said, guys, we know what we used to do.
Yeah.
The old adage: if you don't use it, you lose it.
Yeah.
And we're not using it, so we're losing it. So if it's a body you want to maintain, then continue not to use it, and you will lose it. So in my professional life, I'm seeing where a lot of people are forgetting, believe it or not, forgetting the simple things to do.
Well, as a trainer, you see people come in with Apple Watches, with Fitbits, with all these different pieces of technology that aids in what you're trying to teach them. But now they can just go like this: what's my heart rate?
But
what's my blood pressure?
But that's an abundance of information that some people don't know exactly what it's for.
Oh, okay.
So you give them all this information and
It's almost too much.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's like, you're gonna go back to college to figure out everything about how this is going to help you as you go forward into your training, or you're just gonna look. It's quite simple. Flexibility, movement, hydration is normally the main things that you need to think about. If you're not flexible, your chances are you're brittle. If you're not moving, chances are you're not having muscle tissue or connective tissue that's gonna maintain you.
Yeah.
If you're not hydrating, then you're not hitting these points. And so when you leave these out, or as technology take over and you leave these out, it's a road to disaster there.
So you're saying, so your clients coming in with these different readouts and watches that are able to give you that, it hasn't really enhanced your training.
Well, listen, it can become confusing sometimes.
Yeah.
It enhances my training because I have parameters for which I can document to show how you're moving forward, and then I can explain it. But otherwise, for the person,
doesn't really help.
Yeah.
But would you gentlemen agree that it's making the modern day population more aware? now?
Yes, it is. So that it's easier to quantify everything that's happening to you with all the technology that's there. So there's a lot more proof. Where back in the days, there would be just small incremental documentation that you could have. Where this one now is, I hear everybody talking about heart rate. I hear everybody talking about perspiration rate. I hear everybody, the one thing that we only had was weight.
Wait. There's a perspiration rate?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't never heard about that one. Yeah.
Yeah. So there is a perspiration and there's an aspiration or a respiration rate that you normally get. So when you start to do your VO2 max and all these things for athletes who want to push the envelope, they want to see exactly how much oxygen, how much hydrogen is coming out, how much fluid they're losing through their breathing, as well as how efficient their body is at using just about everything that they take in, or is it being absorbed? So that is a higher level of training, but it is still quantifiable with all this technology. So it does help for us to fine tune the athletes, and that's why we have faster athletes, stronger athletes, more durable athletes. Accompanied with what we did in another segment that has to do with pharmaceuticals. With all these things combined, the electronics and the technology that we have can make you fine tune a human being to jump higher, run faster. Exactly.
Okay. All right.
So it's for you to look at now. It is there for us to use, but
you use it?
A tool. Yeah, it's a tool in the tool pan.
Okay.
But if you don't take it out and use it properly,
it rusts.
Yeah, exactly.
Just to piggyback on what Keith is saying, like I was in a meeting, a management meeting this week, and one of the girls said, "Oh, I have to stand up." She interrupted the whole meeting.
I get that on my watch too.
And it was like, is it really necessary for you to interrupt the entire meeting? So it goes back to what you just said. How we use it is so important for us. But I like the fact that technology has advanced with certain things. I like the fact that we don't have to stay with the old-fashioned phone where you're connected to the wall. We can now stay connected with our friends when we're out texting, taking pictures for one. It's definitely changed the film industry as far as how we take photographs. But I think we lose some things as well. Like we don't have the photo albums anymore, unless you take time to do it. So I like certain things about the old ways, but I love certain things about the new ways. I love the fact that I used to write love letters to my ex-boyfriend. I used to wait for the letter to come in the mail because he was in the Air Force, and I hated waiting. And I still have those letters. But the anticipation was valid. And I still have them. And after all these years, I still can go back and read those letters. And there's nothing that replaces that for me. So there's.
You can always save an email.
I don't want to email. It's the handwriting. It's the choice of words. It's that anticipation of waiting for that letter in the mail. There's nothing like that. It is sexual. I mean, you're taking me back to my teenage years.
It's personalized.
I mean, we went off to the Air Force, and I was in Jamaica. He was in Louisiana. And it was just that first love and those letters that came, and it's probably a whole nother segment, but it was so beautiful.
So technology going into sexual. So how does technology advance sexuality?
No, it has, but but you lose that. My daughter will not probably know what a love letter is. Because it's a text, it's a WhatsApp message, it's an email.
Sorry.
I can speak for myself. I know the value of writing something down because people don't get that anymore. So when I get a chance, I write thank you notes. I have like a box inside of thank you notes, and I write them down. And there's an envelope, and there's the actual red clay stamp, stamp that goes down. So when you give that to someone, they know that you thought about them, rather than just I have to thank John. Send off an email. It's different.
Yeah, definitely.
But as far as the relationship thing, the anticipation, do you guys remember having to wait until your parents came off the phone so you could use the phone to call your girlfriend or your boyfriend and be like, hey, I just got the phone, I can't stay too long because I'm around the corner and you know my mom is listening on the phone.
Or the other line.
Yo, that was a big deal.
So thank God for technology. Because now, hey, if we had that technology, we could be listening at our kids. Hey, what you doing on the phone still?
Listen, looking back on it, it's nostalgic and it's cool, but no, I don't want to go through that again.
Yeah.
No, but
That was annoying, man. Wait to call out the phone. They still on the phone? Jesus.
Oh yeah,
Christ.
and you want to go out.
Yeah. You know, after 9 o'clock, I can't call our host. I'm going to get cussing.
Yep,
But you know what? It's funny that you touch on that, right? So, how do you think technology has helped us to raise our kids when it comes to that now, to keeping in touch? Because they have your little loopholes in technology that they can go on their sites that they can go on and stay away from us and prepare and plan to shoot up school and all them things.
Well, yeah, that's a whole nother. But
So,
before you, Sean,
yeah.
how did it impact your life?
So which actually ties into what you just brought up. For me, when I think back, you know, if there was a word I didn't understand how to spell or understand the meaning, and I went to my mother, the first thing she said is, go look it up in the Encyclopedia Britannica.
Yeah.
So we had a whole shelf of Encyclopedia Britannica.
How many years? How many different years? And every year you have to get a new set to that.
Oh my God. So then I remember I even arguing with my mother. I was like, well, if I knew how to spell it, I would know how to look it up. And that, you know, she would challenge us.
Yeah.
She would challenge us. I mean, or if you think back, our children will have no clue, zero clue what a world without the internet is.
And
You know,
spell
which is vastly different. I'll have you know. I mean, it's leaps and mounds beyond the way we were raised. If you think about it, like I worked in the vision industry for a while, and one of the things I had to take off the eye test was, you know, those rotary phones when we talk about the phone, how we used to dial. They actually had to take that off of the eye test because kids nowadays had no clue what that was, because they're accustomed to the cell phone.
Yeah.
You know, they don't even know what a payphone is. So when you talk about how it's impacted my life in specific, you know, specifically, I kind of think back to the Encyclopedia Britannica and going to the library and doing research, and if I had a paper to write, actually looking at, you know, reading through mounds and mounds of books. Now our children, when they have a project to do, it's a simple click of, they're sitting there, they have no clue
But is there,
how easy they have it.
but is there, do you think that's bad? I mean, is the juice worth the squeeze? I mean, for the effort you had to put in to get this amount of information, the kids can get it now with a click. We can get it now with a click. Is that better that you had to go through all that effort to get the same
I don't know if
information?
there's any better or worse, and it's kind of how we live our life. You know, there's no good, there's no bad, there's no right, there's no wrong. It just is. So as far as better, there are pros and cons to
Okay, so
everything.
can I rephrase that then?
Sure.
I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. Not, is it better? Is it more,
Did it stick?
No, does it lend itself to advancing ourselves further and faster and more efficient learning? Does it lend itself to more efficient learning?
If I could address it, I mean, like back in the day, I still remember my household phone number, 954-2454. I still remember my girlfriend's phone number, 952-1506, you know. The point is, we use our brain cells differently today.
Yeah.
So, you know, to answer your question, there are pros and there are cons. I think in some ways it's better, in some ways it's worse. So we've become mentally lazy in some respects. You know, we were having a conversation earlier, and all I need to do nowadays is remember a gist of what it is that and then I can easily so I've become mentally lazy, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
I mean,
okay, well, and that goes into the next segment we're talking about. I mean, how have we become? How have we evolved or devolved with the new technology that's come about? And you mentioned something a while ago about they've gotten lazy, but there's proof. There have been studies that have been conducted that shows that a genius from the 1920s would be below average intelligence now, and that has nothing to do with things, asking them questions about things that we do here, because of course they'd be ignorant to that. No, it's about them having abstract knowledge, being abstract intelligence, being able to put themselves in different situations. being able to think outside of the box, developing empathy, those kinds of intelligence, they would not rank on the same level as the average person, no, as the average kid, no. So obviously something has happened. We have become more intelligent. So with the advancing of technology, it would seem as though we've also advanced our intelligence.
But you know, that's argumentative, because when you speak to older folk, there's this fear factor. Because the only fear factor, we should move forward with technology, and we should be able to deal with just about everything there. But there's always this fear factor, and
with every advancement,
right? With every change,
Any
so rather than the advancements, with every change, because
Yeah.
we're always like, so what happened if? You ever hear that? That always come up when it comes to technology, or talking about technology. So what happened if? And we have to cursive and thing. We don't teach cursive anymore. Do you think there is any place for cursive?
In Jamaica, we call it Gino.
Gino, yeah, Gino. And I remember when.
Do you think it is? Do you think there's any need for cursive?
They're teaching
I don't
it.
think so.
My kids are in elementary school and they brought it back.
What's the
They brought it
what's the benefit?
I don't know, but all I know is they brought it back. So why is that?
Because do you think? All right. So let's see if we can figure out exactly why we would say it is worthwhile, whether it is advancement, bringing it back or not, right? So I can understand we're bringing it back to stimulate the mind in a different way, but is that the way we'd like to stimulate the mind moving forward? You understand? Or a way of deducing things, or a way of calculating things, and a way of coming to a conclusion on something. Would that help in doing that? Or would it be better if we just think about the way we can advance and get information fast and use that information for something that could be beneficial to us faster?
I would think so. I mean, we based many things on astrology before, but we advanced as a race, we've advanced as humans, and now we use astronomy. Right? It's not about astrology. It's not about you're a Cancer, you're a Taurus, you're an Aries. We know that has no basis in fact anymore. We know it's just entertainment value. That's all it is. We know better, so we do better. You know, there was a danger you mentioned about with every change there's resistance.
Yes.
But there was resistance about, should we really educate women? Should we allow women to be educated? Because what's going to happen? No, we're going to lose our place. We're going to, who knows what's going to put them in positions? What's going to happen with that? Educating blacks, you know, different other advancements like cars.
Right.
What's going to happen with these motorized vehicles on the road? They're going to kill people.
Yes, right.
What's going on?
Because
Martin Luther translating the Bible into German so the common folk could read the Bible. There was a resistance to that because that's huge. Because now you're making information readily available to common folk. What are they going to do with that information? But have we suffered because we haven't suffered for any of that? You know, so but you know, I'm sure you guys have different views on that. This is my view. That's just my view. I'm open to the change, but you know.
I think we're definitely smarter in the sense that we have more information at our fingertips. I think one of the concerns that I have for the next generations would be, you know, communication.
Yeah.
Like I interviewed someone and her communication skills were limited. Granted, this is just one individual, but she was a much younger generation, and in speaking with her, she just never got out much. She never communicated much other than phone and texting, so then the communication was so different, but she was applying for a job on the phone. So I had to transition her and encourage her to be able to communicate a lot more. So I think with these advancements, it's important that we also draw from some of the skills that we learn in having to go to that encyclopedia. I think it's also exposed us a lot more to crime probably. Internet, you know, people being able to gain access to your bank accounts when we used to write that information down.
I think that technology is as good as it promotes the advancement of humanity, right? If it now has removed itself from humanity, then we might, to me, have a problem.
All right.
Right.
So let's back it up for a while, and let's just see how we have evolved when it comes to technology and so forth.
Are we smarter or dumber?
I think both. I think like when I look back at my children, or look at my children now and think back to when I was their age,
Yeah.
I think in comparing, I had more street smarts, more common sense. I consider my children smarter than I was then in one way, but less smart in another way. So
Did you
Yeah.
have more common sense? A lot of things we see as common sense, it's not really.
No. I definitely had more survival skills.
Okay.
And,
Street savvy?
Oh yeah. I was way more street savvy than my children at the age that they are now.
But did you need that street savvy
I
more than
had-
your kids needed?
But
it?
I did, and it's indicative of the times,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Absolutely, I needed it. But if you think back, right, like when we were young, we went out and we played. There was no cell phone to call home. There was no, you just knew that when the sun was coming down,
Fine,
you
yeah.
come home. I mean, the environment that we were in. Chances are, even though our parents weren't there, they kind of knew the vicinity we were in, or if they were looking for us, they knew kind of which house to go to, or what have you.
Yeah.
Now, like my daughter, my 11-year-old daughter sent me something today, and it was a program that she coded, total animation, and she had it depict a story kind of like her and her sister playing. I could not have written that code at 11, so in some ways, absolutely, they are smarter, but in other ways,
She's behaving as her time dictates. If you were 11, no, you would be able to. But because you'd be exposed to that knowledge.
And you'd be
Or
spending more of your time.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, just as though you were more street savvy then, because that's what those times
called
require.
for, right?
Her times don't require that.
Right.
I don't think there's any virtue in claiming to be a Luddite, because I've met people that say, no, what Google Maps? What happened? What's wrong with a map? What's the benefit of opening a map when you
There's
have
no
it
need.
right there?
Right there.
Why?
There's no
Why are
need.
you resisting that? For what? What is your point?
Right.
You're not gaining anything by doing that. Yeah, my take is yes. I can see where somebody would say it can promote laziness,
Yeah.
but I can see where that would come up, but I don't agree with it. The reason being is because laziness in the sense of, okay, I'm not going to expend that effort to get that amount of information. I can expend the same effort to get this amount of information. Which one is more efficient?
Right.
You understand?
Yeah, I understand exactly what you're saying.
I would never trade this, a phone, for another rack, as I had as a child, another rack of Encyclopedia
Okay.
Britannicas.
So
It's
let
more
me ask you this, Sean.
Yeah.
Just because I know that you're a cyclist, if I were to tell you that you could get the same benefits, 30 seconds in your home while you're watching TV with an electronic thing to stimulate your body to become that, or you can go out and ride, exactly which would you choose?
Well, if my motivation is purely from a health perspective, and you saying I'm going to get the same health benefits, then I would choose the phone.
Right.
I would stay here and
But you-
adopt this new technology, but I also gain enjoyment. I gain
And-
mental stimulation.
And
from
this
doing
is what
it.
I'm telling you. This is why you missed the point.
No, I didn't enjoy looking at encyclopedias. So that's where you're going.
No, that's not where I'm going. That's not where I'm going. So this is what I want to tell you, that I was getting to the point.
Yeah.
Kids don't want that. We want to go there, smell the roses. We want to go there. If you don't nurture your kid to see these
But they-
things and find out that it's
But-
enjoyable, they're
But they
going to
don't-
want the electronics and get that technology quick and get this quick and get the body quick and get whatever they need quick to get the end result quickly.
But I think that's where we come in as parents.
Exactly.
Is they don't know what they don't know,
So
and children need guidance, and they need it's up to us to expose them to that so that they understand that it's more than just the health benefit of the device that's going to get you there. It's about
going
the
on and
sense
seeing
and
things
right.
and enjoying camaraderie and so on.
But we were talking earlier, if I may, we were talking earlier about books, right? You know, actually having a hard copy book and reading the pages versus, you know, we're pressed for time, so I do a lot of audio. I'm in the car a lot, so. But we all agreed, I believe, that when we see the words and there's just something about turning the pages that have the when you well, for me, I'm visual.
It registers.
So it stays imprinted in my brain. I will write positive affirmations on my mirror with my soap because subconsciously it buries those words in my subconscious, you know, versus, because we learn multiple ways, right?
Yeah.
Hearing, seeing, and it has to come at us from different angles in multiple ways in order for it to stick. So there's just something to be said about.
No, I understand. And that is the point that I wanted to make about technology. We have our opinion on it. Our parents have their opinion on it. And the kids have their opinion on it. And there is this big evolution coming on where the movement is less, but the mental movement, or you know, what we used to want, the social gathering, is not that important to them.
You don't think they interact
the technological gathering is much more important to them than the social gathering.
I think it goes back to the parenting.
Do you think
as
so?
well.
Back to the parent.
Because
Definitely.
I'm raising two adults at this stage, one 18 and one 24, and they're growing up in a society of technology, but there are certain beliefs, like what Shauna was saying, and Keith has referred to as well, is to, in my home, there are certain things that I want them to do. I want them to put down their cell phone and have dinner with us. I want them to communicate with me. Don't stay in your room and send me a text. You need to come and find me. We're in the same house. So I think I definitely want my children to have that open communication. Even though the technology is there, the quick fix to just send me a text, I still want that communication. It makes a difference when my kids have to publicly speak. I want them to be able to speak and feel strong. Yes. And not hide behind a text. Even as adults, we do it, and I say, don't text me unless you can't pick up the phone and call me. And that's just me.
Are we coming to this conclusion that probably we have a bearing to keep human and social interaction along with technology moving forward?
No,
or
I don't think so. I think to me, I think we need to meet. We need to meet our evolution where it's at instead of forcing our evolution to meet us where we feel comfortable. So we need to change our comfort level. Like my son he loves his Xbox. He's always on Xbox. But I place limits as to how much time is spent on there. Right? He has a phone. He has an iPhone. You know, he goes on and he uses it for various things. He was talking to his friends. Right? I'm not going to not allow him to use a phone simply because when I was his age I didn't have a phone. We're not comparing the same thing. It's apples and oranges. We live in a different world. That's crazy. Yeah, but I cannot impose those things on my son. If I cannot instill in him the values that I know to be powerful with this new technology, then I need to train myself to do so. But the thing about education, where we're going, I think it's absolutely no contest. These kids now are way more smarter than we are. Way more smarter than we were. Way more smart.
But think about this, because I can see just by what you said, you agree with all of us, that is some of our values, as you, the term that you use, values that we are imposing on the kid. And we think that these are important. As they go down, do you think it's going to dwindle? Because our parents had values that they gave to us, but it dwindled down in us, and then it
and they get outdated.
Outdated is a key. We're supposed to, the next generation is always supposed to supersede the last.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. So I don't think there's any virtue in antiquity. I think we place too much virtue on antiquity. Just because it's old doesn't mean it's any better. Right. We have to evolve. I'm not going to take a horse and buggy to get to work. What's the point?
But you take a bicycle though.
Yeah, I would take the bike over.
Rocket, my youth.
You keep it hard.
And I'm happy for Google Maps because I used to be the person that would call all my friends and I'd be lost. Some of them are probably going to watch this because I used to have to print out from MapQuest and have it in the car and I would still get lost. So now I get to my destination a lot quicker.
But
so
speaking
that's
about
the
maps, pros and cons, I used to drive courier when I was in college, and what it did, because we didn't have Google Maps back then, but mentally, right, I knew that going down a street, like if you gave me an address, I knew when I was coming up on the address, I knew whether the place was going to be on the right or the left. Nowadays, I'm in the car, and I just turn on Google Maps, and I don't even think about it, I just listen to her. I'm doing other things.
You working?
And
Yeah.
timers.
Yeah.
wow, no. Jesus.
Yeah.
Anyway, so again, they're pros. I use those brain cells to do something else now.
Yeah.
You know.
There we go.
That's the point.
Yeah.
That's the point. You find other things to use
Your time.
to use your time for, more valuable things. I don't spend the same time looking at a map. What's the point?
Yeah. To
You know?
keep growing.
But as a last topic on this advancement of technology, I want to ask you guys about have you anybody saw Terminator 2, the whole series?
Yeah.
Artificial intelligence, you know, are you scared of that? AI?
We have to allow this to go forward. I'm not afraid of it at all.
Would you trust, let's say you're riding on a road, would you trust a manned vehicle passing you more than a driverless vehicle passing you?
Yeah, it takes time.
Which one would you trust? Which at this point, which one you trust more?
Absolutely no automated, full artificial intelligence is going to be running that vehicle. None whatsoever.
You don't trust it?
No, because I don't think we're at that point yet.
Okay.
But I do believe it would be the best later on when we get past it. If everything was artificial intelligence, where we get into a shuttle and we go somewhere, everything is run through artificial intelligence. You know, that would be great. No manned vehicle, because everything is it's going to be a time when the glitch now is our perception and the way that we deal with things as opposed to the way AI is dealing with it. If AI alone is doing it, then there's a way to counteract just about everything, and then there's
when we're driving, we depend upon our reaction times, and our senses, which are limited and they're flawed.
Right.
So, you know, if you put it all on an intelligent system, a computerized system that has sensors that work far faster and better than our own senses, to me, I would trust a driverless vehicle before a manned vehicle passed me, especially with a bunch of idiots I see on the road driving, looking down on their phone while they're driving.
Or drunk driving.
Again, it goes back to how are you using that technology, right?
Right.
You know.
I think the issue present day is a combination thereof. So, you know, I think there are manless cars out there that they're testing.
Yeah.
There have been a couple of issues, but I think it might be a result of, you know, there's still us with our reactionary time and, you know, and these vehicles out there. So I think that's the point you were trying to make, is that if they were all operated on the same, in the same way, then, you know, you would run into less obstacles.
Less issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's so funny.
Because-
It's taking me back to childhood. I remember when I used to watch the Jetsons. Anybody used to watch the Jetsons?
Yeah.
And I thought that by the time I got to this stage in life,
We'd be flying.
Yes.
Yeah, flying
Right?
cars.
Well, I think if we're talking about flying cars and, you know, there's so much when it comes to terrorism that would be scary for me for people to have
Because you
the
think it could be
power
hacked?
it's more access, you know. So I welcome change, I welcome technology. I just think there are certain brakes that have to be put on, and everything has to be thought out, because just like they can take a plane and fly it into the Twin Towers, you're talking about giving people access to just fly a massive amount of cars into someone's home, or we're talking about the future of, dating a robot. I mean, where can technology take us? It's just so much to consider where the future goes. I mean, we never thought we would be where we are today, and yet it's there. So the generations coming up have a lot to offer. So thankfully, we think they're smarter and wiser and quicker. Technology has made our access a lot quicker.
It's funny that you go into the personal relationship, because technology alone has moved us to the point where we don't have to go out and buy the clothes and say, all right, we're going out to this function or here. You can swipe right or swipe left and move on, and swipe right and swipe left and move on. You understand what I mean? So that initial part. Oh,
you pay for your drinks.
No, I'm talking about Tinder.
You don't have to go to the club. You don't have to go to the bar.
You don't have to go to the club to meet someone or to hook up or so forth. You go on all these websites and it's a swipe. Oh, I don't like. Then you move forward with everything. So you have Tinder and all these places that professional people now are saying, I don't have no time to hang out. I'm a businessman. Let me put my profile on there and let me look at certain profiles.
So when they look at certain profile and they see somebody they like, don't they still have to go on a date? It's with a human being, right?
Yes, they do. But what I'm talking about is
you have a pool right on your fingertips.
We don't have to wait for a function or make a function and then plan this and so forth. Technology has made it where all that is not necessary anymore. So you just go right to, this is the person I'm looking for. You don't have to go meet a person, talk to them, oh shit, this person, and then you move on to somebody else and I can't.
I'm still one of those people, that need to meet humans and talk to them. I don't want the dating sites. I don't want to swipe.
Right.
I don't want to have.
No, but the dating site is like a first step, and then you go and meet these people. But you decide.
Oh yeah, there's so many scary stories about meeting people like that.
They're pros and cons. I hear good stories.
The whole thing is it's not the real personal part of what we're talking about. It's just our topic today of the technology and how it has made things different. So, and as I said, different age range and different generations and different progression of people and people who really find that nature itself and social interaction is very valuable. They're just it depends on what you choose.
Do we all agree that you cannot, technology and all, there's certain basic fundamentals as human beings that just will never go away? You could text all day long, you could email, you could whatever through technology. At the end of the day, communication is more than what you write or what you say. It's how you say it and your body language. That face-to-face personal interaction, at the end of it all, it will never go away.
I like to play devil's advocate, right? So you are stating that we will always have to be face-to-face and share that, but you realize that when we're in front of each other, we are sharing our senses and this proximity and the nuances of how I have a crooked smile, how you take that, my eyes may go down a little bit, I may give you a sultry look that may initiate a different kind of reaction from you. All of these things may be able to be replicated. Instead of me being right there in front of you, some things we take for granted and say, oh, that'll never go away.
Oh, it's coming.
But it very well could not.
But you can see it just in this last step. The first thing that we had was a phone to dial to call you. The next thing you had was text. Then the people said the text don't say nothing. Then the next thing you know, you have emojis. Then next thing you know, you have FaceTime. So it's progressive going that way. So, just like you're saying, we already see it there.
There's no end to it, but to me it's exciting. I love it. The only thing I want to end this with is hopefully this can add a bit of comfort with people. When we think about artificial intelligence or the advancement of technology, we think that there's this big hovering, omnipresent microchip that's going to be able to take over our world and get rid of humans, say you guys are stupid. But I think for me there is some comfort in knowing that we evolved as a species through power and dominance, and that's how we pass on our genes on to the next generation, because we're able to get through those obstacles before, and it involved power and dominance. This is something, a part of evolution. artificial intelligence was created. It's a created intelligence. They didn't have to go through power and dominance. So there is no need for them to dominate us. There's no need for them to have any power over us. The need is just to make things as simple and as efficient as it can be for us. So we need to stop thinking, in my estimation, that they're going to take over. No, that's human thinking. It's evolutionary thinking. It doesn't have to be that way.
Right. But you know that there is a lot of people who think that.
Yeah, because they watch too much Terminator 2.
Right. They'll think that, hold on a second, efficient is not us. So eliminate what is not efficient. So that is the only, and then they always come back to the fear and being stuck in the mud and not